So, what's really been on my mind the last few days is the role of action in creating. Because it seems very clear to me at this point that creation happens in 4D. The vision is solidified and the state is taken on in 4D, in awareness, and not in 3D. And my experience has been that the things that I have accomplished via visualization and adopting the state have also included an absolute shit ton of hard work, which I was happy to do. In fact, my motto in life that I sort of took on about 15 years ago was the only way out of a bad situation is hard work, which of course now I'm having to rethink that because I realize that's a solid belief, and it served me because anytime I've been in a bad situation, I've thought, okay, time to get to work, and I've always worked my way out of it. Every time. That belief has served me, but I have to wonder, was it the action that got me out of the situation, or did the action simply build up and solidify my conviction that I was going to get out of the situation? This is interesting. I just got a copy of the book Reality Transurfing yesterday. Thank you to the commenter that pointed me in that direction. There's not enough time in the day to get through this book right now, but I ended up watching a video by somebody that commenter also recommended, and this became clear. This action thing became very clear to me that the action that's taken is not necessarily what brings about the end result. But taking action is incredibly important, because the way that we're conditioned is to, not have perfect faith about something. And so when you take action, it's like saying to yourself, this is already happening. And it makes perfect sense, because this has been how I've lived my life, and how things have become successful seems very clear in retrospect. The massive action that I took to making my business a success, I attributed the success to the amount of time I was putting in. In fact, I used to say to my business partner, man, when I check out mentally from this business, like, it just goes down the drain. But I've had direct evidence to the contrary of that over the last couple of years, because when I started to work on my body in 2018, I really shifted the focus from the business to, it was the same thing. I took massive action towards getting the body I wanted, and that involved at the time hours a day at the gym. And I've always said I didn't manifest a different body. I manifested the ability to do the action that got the body. That's how I've always looked at it. I adopted the state of the person, with the good body. I didn't envision myself in the good body and then just let it happen. That's not the route that I took. There are a lot of different ways to get places. And so my experience of creating things has always involved a very hands-on, direct effort. And so now that I have achieved the things that I think required that effort, or that I thought required that effort, and I'm in this realm now where I want to create other things where I don't have as direct, I don't have the ability to have as direct an impact, it's really, really difficult. It's difficult learning to navigate, which is what I think I'm kind of talking about in this channel, because it's a different realm. And I think I wanted to talk on this channel. Well, I got into this channel because I think a lot of people out there haven't achieved the things that you can achieve, where you do have a lot of things that you can do. And if you're the type of person that doesn't want to sit around and try to figure it out, and you want to actually do something, like there's so much you can do if you want a better body, or you want to create wealth. Like those are things that you can do stuff. You know, you can use your time in a very obvious way to achieve those things. But anyway, so back to the topic of action in terms of creating things that appear to rely more on divine intelligence. This is the realm that I've been dipping my toe into. And I know it works the same way. I know that it works even if I don't have any direct input into it. But it's really hard, I'm learning, to build conviction about something if you can't appear to have any direct influence on it. It's really hard. And the hardest thing about it for me especially is realizing that the actions that I do take are largely meaningless from the perspective of what I'm able to do. It's so hard to explain this. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's really not much of a reason to regret the actions taken, because the only real thing that you have to do is to believe that the thing you're trying to create will happen and is possible. That's really all that you have to do. And anything else that you do doesn't really matter, other than whether or not it contributes to your belief in the outcome. I've had some recent experience with this, which was not easy. And realizing that nothing that I say or do, realizing that I don't even really know if the things I say or do in 3D are my own, if it's being inspired, if it's being guided, if the thoughts that I have are put into my head. I've definitely had that experience. It's really hard to sit through it. It becomes an exercise in patience, and it becomes a real exercise in faith. And this is, I think, where the self-development comes into play. Because you don't have to be happy, you don't have to feel positive about who you are or any of that to create things. But for me, when it gets to the point where I can't even take any actions towards anything, that's where it really becomes about me, because I'm the one sitting here experiencing it all. And that's where it really matters, how you feel about who you are and Because when you have nothing that you can do, when you have nothing that you can say, when all you can do is have faith that everything is working on your behalf to bring you what you want, it really helps if you're not sitting around thinking, I suck, I'm a piece of shit, I'm not good enough, I'll never be good enough, this is just more proof. I mean, the difference between experiencing life from a vantage point of security and having built yourself up and feeling like things are okay just because you've made yourself okay, it's night and day. And I think that's all I really wanted to say about it.